All right, all right. We are back at the Grit Won't Quit podcast today. We are doing a virtual one. We're doing one for someone from Australia today. We have a very special guest. We have Rob from Peak Performance Coaching. How are you today, Rob?
Good, Tom. Thank you for having me. I'm doing exceptionally well, although it's 1 a.m. here in Australia, but we're doing well.
It's 1 a.m. in Australia, and for those people that are in the New Jersey area, it is 10:06 in the mornings. When I said to Rob, good morning, I was saying good morning like it's 10 o'clock in the morning, and Rob is at 1 o'clock in the morning, and he has not gone to sleep yet. But I really give him a lot of credit for wanting to be on the Grit Won't Quit podcast, that he was willing to stay up till 1 in the morning to shoot this episode. Rob, nice to have you on. Thank you for accommodating the schedule with the time difference. And let's kind of jump right into it. So, Peak Performance has been around for 8 years.
Yeah. Yeah, around 8 years now. There's two parts to our businesses. So there's my wife who coaches women, and I stick to coaching men.
Stick to coaching men. All right. So now, what got you into this 8 years ago?
Okay, so roughly around 10 years ago at 42, I was working 7 days a week. I was
What
in
were
the
you doing?
hospitality.
Oh,
I was in the
hospitality.
hospitality industry, huge hours, high stress. And March 16, 2015, I had a massive heart attack and I was very lucky to survive.
At 42 years old.
42, 42, high stress. Like just used to put myself under so much pressure and, just to provide and be the provider and do all the right things for my family. And here I was thinking I was doing the right thing. But, on the other hand, I was, very lucky to survive, which in the end, thank God, I did survive. And it was something that changed my life.
All right. How long were you down for with that heart attack?
Well, roughly in the end, I couldn't work for roughly 6 weeks. And then even after that, it was just a gradual it was a gradual step by step to getting back to, because after you have a heart attack or something like that, it takes a lot out of you. So physically I couldn't do too much. So it did take me a little bit of time, but I got back and now I, run a very, very different lifestyle.
Sure. I mean, understandably so. So now you have this heart attack. Did you go back into the hospitality business, or did you?
Yeah, yeah, funny enough, we did.
We didn't learn anything right away, huh? You didn't learn right away to jump out of that
Well,
then.
no, no, I did learn, and I was taking weekends off and went back to 5 days and 5 days a week. And I just remember one day my wife said to me, "What, I had this man ring me. He wants to buy our cafe, and he wants to buy this." I said, "Sold." And she said, "What do you mean?" And I said, I'm out. I'm done. I want a different lifestyle. I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yep.
So luckily, we had someone that wanted to buy our business, and we got out of that actual industry, and then we went more into like catering itself, so which was a little bit different and probably a little bit easier to run. So from there, I we ran the catering business, but then I also started studying again and went back and studied life coaching and NLP and timeline therapy and so many other things that I use now with all of my clients.
And you don't look back.
No, 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 no. I love what I do now. I'm very passionate. I went through a very tough time back then too, very depressed states and yeah, very, very tough time. And
That's hard.
Yeah. So now, no, I really love what I do. I'm very passionate about what I do, and I love helping men who are in that sort of, and I sort of target high achieving dads, and
Hmm.
that's sort of where I go. It's high achieving dads who are business owners and CEOs and you know CEOs and business owners and industry leaders who want to get that reconnection with their family, who want to get some fulfillment back in their lives, because all they're doing is working, and they're not fulfilling their lives as such. And so it's helping men with all of those types of things, which is awesome. I love love seeing that transformation where we have a man who will start working with me, and then after 3 months he comes out the other side a completely different person.
Sure. How long is the average coaching? How long is for these men to see results and see what their desired impact of this is?
So my smallest program is 3 months.
Okay.
So yeah, so the 3 month program is, it's 12 weeks together, and it's awesome. It's awesome. So we get to do that's mostly one-on-one work. There is some group sessions where we do Zoom meetings with and I will put, we in groups,
Hmm.
but that's when we're doing more specific things, it's one to one.
Okay. Cool. And these guys are seeing results that they're happy about.
Absolutely. As I said earlier on, just as I often say, is thrive as my motto is thrive as a leader, lead as a father. So it's really coming back, and yes, still having that, your business that you care and love and love to work in, and what provides for their family, but it's also about reconnecting with, we see so many marriages these days that are just breaking down because there's no connection with husband and wife. So we have that where we get the reconnection of, where that man is more present at home, instead of, he gets home and his head is still at work, still in his business and all of that sort of stuff. It's present. I'm home. I leave work at work now, and I teach strategies, and I show people how to do that, because that was me. I
Yeah.
remember so often my kids would be talking to me and I'd be looking at them, but my mind was somewhere else.
Sure.
And
Now,
and that's
in
not
in
fair.
this digital space of this, where you're tied to one of these devices at all time, like
Absolutely.
how does that impact how your coaching goes? Because no matter what, like, I know my phone is next to me, near me, in arm's
Yeah.
reach, no matter where
Yeah.
I am in my day. And again, I think a lot of business owners are like myself, where they're, as much as we want to be out, we want to be working on the business, not in the business. Also, our customers are who pay our bills, and they call,
Correct.
they want to talk, they want to text, they want to go over a project. I know, as much as I have the best of intentions come Monday morning, and then Monday morning hits, and just it's like a hurricane. You just, you're covering everything to make sure that everybody's happy. I mean, again, I can only go off my own business, but my own business, I have 200 5-star Google reviews. Why? Because people call me and I pick up the phone. So how do you get through to guys like me that are so entrenched in our businesses, to be like, when you say, like, be present everywhere, I think that's a very hard thing to
Yeah.
accomplish,
Oh, no doubt.
especially for entrepreneurs. Kind of the CEO world of the bigger companies. There's bigger teams. There's more to it. They have different stresses and different problems. They're playing against Wall Street. They're playing against other variables that are hard. But, like, when you look at, like, the small to medium sized business owner who is still hustling, how do you see some of that success? Because I think that a lot of
Absolutely.
people that watch this program are on the smaller side of the
Yeah.
business owner.
Yeah. And look, I get that, but I often call it digital detox. And look, once you're home and, in that 10 hour period during the day, 100%, you're going to have your phone ringing. You're going to have things going on. You're going to probably take some personal calls at times, like the wife might ring, the
Yeah.
kids might call. Of course, you're going to take those calls, but what I say is, once you get home, there's not much you can do so if a client or a customer calls you and needs you to take action on something, you're at home. So how are you going to fix the problem there and then anyway? So what I say is, most things can wait until the next morning. It's teaching, and look, the thing is, people want change. So it's when they get to a stage like I did, where you work, but then bang, you hit a brick wall, and you're forced to change.
Sure.
There's no,
There was no,
so
hey, it sounds good. You were.
That's it. You must change. So I understand that. And is there times now where I still take phone calls, after hours? Absolutely. But do I make it a habit? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And it's having boundaries. That's the biggest thing. And I think so many small business owners, and people that are high achievers, that's who I want to work with. Those high achievers, and I love that they're high achievers. I get that they want to, help, and they want to continue to achieve and all of that type of thing. But at some stage, you've got to say, okay, phone goes away. I'm going to be present now to the family.
I want to write a book. Maybe you could help me with this, called Balance. And it kind of talks about what you're talking about. Like, and
Absolutely.
it's not just with work and hours and projects. I just think that the whole world is out of balance a little bit. And balance
It is.
could be like, when you think about it, again, I want to work an 8 to 10 hour day. I want to have family time, for the other part. It could be I want to make X amount of dollars, but you don't have to go to the nth extreme. It's about, giving back to the community. Like, I think that the word balance has a lot of relevance, I think, to
Yes.
the world. And it's not just with the entrepreneurial world, but entrepreneurs in general are usually go to extremes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is the biggest thing, is when we have balance in our life. So many, here in Australia, that phrase of work-life balance.
Yeah.
I think that's wrong. I think it's all a life balance, because everything, whether it's our work, whether it's our family, whether it's getting together with our buddies and having a few beers, whether it's watching some sport, it all fits into our life.
Hmm.
Okay. And I think we've been programmed so that work is, and of course it is absolutely necessary, and we need to, make money to live and to provide and all of that sort of stuff. But you're spot on there, Tom. I think that you need to have a balance. And then when you have that balance of your business, your family, some time for yourself. That was something that I didn't know. I just couldn't do. I felt guilty. This sounds so silly, but where our business was, 2 doors down, I had a gym. I joined that gym, and I felt guilty going to the gym because I was then not spending time with my family.
Hmm.
It's that whole, you know, I would work 14-hour days. And then if I went to the gym, I'd want to go to the gym, but then I'd think, I haven't seen the family. So I'd go off and, I'd go home and spend time, or try and spend time with the family, but I still wasn't present to the family, even when I was with them,
Yeah.
There were so many times where I would be with the family, but my mind was everywhere else.
Sure. So now your wife was involved with the business too, and now she's also doing coaching. So she
Yeah.
she also kind of backed away from the crazy hours and the.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we're out of the hospitality game altogether now.
Yeah. Hospitality is a tough industry.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It looks glamorous from the outside, cafes and restaurants and all, but what happens behind the scenes, and how many hours go into it, and
It's hard
wow,
as hell.
it is a very, very tough industry. Especially these days. I'm not sure what it's like over there, but the cost of living here in Australia has gone through the roof, and it has everywhere right around the world. So it's, yeah, nowadays it's even harder.
Yeah. And, again, the cost per living is up, the cost per labor is up, the cost per materials, getting people in the door,
Mm,
and again, in the restaurant space, the waste, like, it's a
yeah,
hard game. It's a
yeah,
very hard game.
yeah.
So it's good
This
that you
this
got out
is,
of it.
yeah, absolutely. No,
The guy
absolutely.
that bought it, is he still in business?
It's he then sold the business to someone else, and then he went broke.
So it's not even there anymore.
No, it's not there anymore.
Is the gym
So
still there?
the gym's still there.
All right, good,
Absolutely.
good, good. Everybody's got their memberships.
Yes.
So on prioritization, like when you think about like your day now, like, and you know that you want to have that balance and you want to have that time. So how do you structure your days so that you don't get yourself back into that pitfall of working 24 by 7, 7 days a week?
It's funny because just this last week I've done some very late nights.
Hmm.
So, but I'm working on some new marketing strategies. I'm working on some new things that I'm doing for the new year, and I need it to be ready in the next sort of week or two. And my son said to me, "Dad, this is what you teach, and you're sitting up till 1 o'clock in the morning. What are you doing?" And I said, "Relax. This is not going to be me for, there's times where you need to put a little bit more time in, and I get all of that. But for me now, most mornings I wake up, I go for a walk. I take my dog. I've got two dogs. I've got a Ridgeback and an Australian Kelpie, which is a
Hmm.
farm dog here. So I take them for a good 45 to an hour's walk each morning. I then will come home. I do some meditation, have a good breakfast, have a good coffee, and then I start my day.
Hmm.
But I very rarely start my day without looking after myself first.
That's great. And when does your phone come into play? Do you look at your phone first thing in the morning? Do you walk first and then look at your phone?
Yeah, oh, look, there's sometimes I have messages on my phone. I'll look at them. I don't look at emails and stuff like that. No, I usually won't look at emails until I sit here at my
Okay,
desk.
sure.
So, but I might have some messages on through Messenger and Facebook and all of
Yeah,
that
yeah,
sort of
sure.
stuff, or some text messages. I'll look at them. If I have to reply to them, I'll reply to them. Otherwise, I'll leave those till I start the day, and then I look. I'll go through my emails, look at emails, all of that sort of stuff, and then I have coaching sessions. So I obviously once I'm coaching, the phone's away and gone anyway.
Yep,
So
sure.
like I can't be distracted by that. And then, I have blocks in my day, and that's how I do. I sort of try and block out my day as I'm going, and which really does help me, really
Sure.
does. And then like even at home now, the kids, my kids are a little bit older now, but they will often sit down at the table and they'll bring their phone and they'll sit their phone on the table. What are you doing with it? Let's go. Get rid of it for now. We don't need to have phones on the table. Let it go. Just put it over there somewhere. You're not going to answer it anyway. We're having dinner. So, I like to, I really do. I prefer that there's no phones on the table when we're having dinner and there's no distractions. Is that always the case? Not always the case, but it's, I would prefer that there is no phones on the table while we're having dinner.
That makes sense. It's nice to, go back to the family roots of eating dinner together, and I think that
Absolutely.
there's a lot of good conversation that comes out of that too.
Absolutely.
What do the kids think
Absolutely.
about no phone at the table?
Oh, they're okay. Look, we have it's interesting because we have some really good conversations,
Hmm.
like things what's happened for the day, what have we done, what have we my daughter actually we actually have a little bit of a joke going on within the family because my daughter works in the school system, so she's going to be a teacher. So she's studying to be a teacher, but
Okay.
she works in an after before and after school care as
Hmm.
well. So we often hear some very interesting stories that she'll come home with. So, we have a little segment during dinner which is Steph's story time for what's happened during
What
that
happened?
day.
What
So
happened during the day? I
yes,
love it.
so have a bit of a laugh about that. We all love our sport here too, so we often will talk about sport. We'll talk about just things that are going on in the day to day world.
Sure.
So yes, yeah.
That's great. That's great. So, what can you recommend for a small business owner who wants to make the first step at making some changes? Like, what's an easy, actionable step that, people can make trying to get out of that 20?
Yeah. So I would say one of the easiest things to do is start to block your day. So actually start to in your phone and set like it's so easy these days with the calendars we have
Sure.
in with Apple phones and every other phone. It's like so I block out my time for this, time for this, time for this, time for this. So it's all set out for me, so I know roughly what I'm doing at any certain time. As much as So I was going to the barber the other day, and I even put that in because I want to know where I am at that time. So it gives me a reminder, all of that sort of stuff. And I think blocking out and having some time for you
Mm-hmm.
as an individual, as that man, even if it's just to go for a walk, or if it's just to go to the gym, or whatever it is that you love to do. We don't have that time enough, I don't feel. As individuals, as men and women, we tend to get into that rat race where we just, we get on the hamster wheel and we just keep going and going and going and going and sort of spinning in that same direction. So it's yeah, and just start to, just understand that when you do get home, is put the phone away. Put it
Mm-hmm.
put it somewhere where you don't hear it. Just little things like that. So put the phone away, put it somewhere where you don't hear it, leave it there. Once the kids go to bed or whatever else, maybe go and check it. But other than that, it really, you're not going to be able to do anything until you get back into the business the next day anyway. So, in most cases, so it's just that, be present, and just the little things, with the family,
Mm-hmm.
just being present when you are home, you know,
Sure. I like that.
switch off from the work mode and switch into family man,
Yep. All
as
right.
I said, thrive as the leader, lead as that father, because I often tell my clients this too. If you want to teach your kids, don't try and teach them by telling them, teach them by doing.
Sure. Makes sense.
Right, and that is so important, because that's where they learn. They will learn when they see us doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So, teaching, showing them that they are important. you know my
Mm-hmm.
phone is going away. When I get home, I'm present to you guys. I'm present to be present to your wife, be present to the kids, and have that time with them. And just, even, this is something that I really love, and I wish I knew more of this when my kids were younger, was just have a 4 or 5 minute block with each child and problem solve something that they've had a challenge with during that day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what was one of your challenges today? I had this or this going on. Okay, and then just, okay, well, how do
How'd you work through it?
how did you work through it? And, oh, I didn't really. So, all right, let's work through that together now.
Mm-hmm.
What could you have done better? What could, just asking little questions and coaching them through and having them, and and letting them know that it's okay to make mistakes and
Mm-hmm.
to fail at times and learn from those failures, and just those sort of little conversations that you get that rapport back with your kids, and
Sure.
that trust, and that love, and all of that sort of stuff,
That's
because
great.
they do, especially at that younger age. We are their superhero.
They're
We are
impressionable.
certainly their superhero.
Sure.
Yeah.
This is some great tidbits of information today. I'm glad that you stayed up
Thank
late for this. So, as we wrap up today, let people know where they can find you. If it's on your website or your social medias, what's the best way for an entrepreneur who's listening to this program that wants to get in touch with you for some training information? How do they do it?
So Facebook, I'm all over Facebook. So, I'm very present to Facebook. Any messages, anything like that, even add me as a friend on Facebook, or send me a message through Facebook. My email is rob@peakperformancecoaching.com.au. So AU for the Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's, my Facebook page is also Rob Yoannidis. And then we've got www.peakperformancecoaching.com.au. That one's our we're having some work done on our website at the moment, so that might not come up. But yes, either
Okay. The
Facebook is
best spot.
probably the best, and just mention that they saw this podcast, and yeah, we can go from there. So
Sounds great.
love
So,
to do.
I'm glad that we got to connect. I'm glad we got to chat. This was very informative, interesting. There's some nuggets I took away personally from this one, and
Perfect.
I look forward to being in touch and speaking to you soon. And thank you again for coming on today.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to come on, and I greatly appreciate it. Thank you
You
so
got
much.
it.